Greetings, greetings. Salute everybody. Come on in, come on in, come on in. Grand Rising and good day to you, Calvin H. Thank you for being here. I appreciate y'all. Hope everybody's having a good day. I hope everybody can hear me okay. Hold on a second, y'all. Technical difficulties. So I'm hoping everybody can hear me all right. Give me just a second. All right, y'all. All right, I think we in business. Peace and blessings. Hey, Kodak Black. Good to see you. Good to see you. I hope everybody is having a strong start today, Saturdays, and I woke up feeling productive and positive. And I know for me, the past couple of days have been a little rough. Um, but the one thing I appreciate and I'm grateful for is a good night's rest. And then when I wake up, I have the opportunity to make the decision on what my mood is going to be for that next day or that current day, right? And it's a decision. It is a decision. And I have to remind myself that it is a decision on how I approach my day. And one thing about something that I have learned and that I've learned to also embrace is when I'm not having such a great day, instead of beating myself up or instead of being so hard on myself, I embrace that moment that I'm in. Because if we deny where we are at that moment, it's going to come up at some point, especially if you don't address it, if you don't make peace with it, if it's not something you can get past. It just builds up. So just because we don't talk about it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Just because we try to wear a smile in the midst of our painful moments doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. It exists. And so I've learned, as long as I still treat people with respect, and I know when to detach, I know when to decompress, and I know when I'm feeling like, okay, everybody gonna catch it. And so I act accordingly. But as long as I am dealing with people with the same level of respect, it is okay to sit in whatever you got going on. Just don't stay in it. That's all I'm saying. Just don't stay in it. Oh, thank you, Kodak Black. I appreciate you. What a beautiful compliment. Thank you, thank you. We got Miss Collins in the building. Salute to you, sis. Thank you for being here. Absolutely, absolutely. So, um, you know, I've been feeling some type of way, and I'm sure I'm not the only one, but I can only speak for me, right? I have really been feeling some type of way about this immigration situation. And there's been some questions. I'm puzzled about some things, but then there are some things I am really clear on, right? And I'm going to share some of those thoughts today, even though I have done several videos regarding our current immigration status in this country. Um, I'm feeling, I don't like when people play in my face. That's what it is. Let's just keep it a buck and call it what it is. I don't like it when people play in my face. Okay. Time is the most valuable resource that we have. And when I tell you, when I feel like somebody is playing in my face, now the focus is on to get you not to play in my face. Even if I don't have no control over it, I'm gonna try. I'm gonna give it my best, right? And so I think I can speak for many when I say, and it doesn't matter what ethnic background you're from. It doesn't matter what cultural background you're from. At this point, if you are an American citizen, whether you were born here, whether you came from other countries and you went through the due process of becoming a legal citizen of this country, through immigration status, I feel like most of us should all feel like we are being played with. Now, you've got our tax monies that are being used, whether they print money 40 going north or not, we still pay taxes as citizens if you work in this country. If you own property of any kind in this country, if you go for a driver's license or an identification in this country, if you buy food or you support businesses, there is always taxes or some type of stipend associated with you being reminded on a regular basis that guess what? It costs to live here. It costs to work here. It costs to have your feet planted in this country. And when you are bringing people from other countries, you've opened the borders and you have allowed and are still during this entire administration allowing people to come into this country unmonitored. And not only that, but then you provide them with the very resources that many citizens of this country have been screaming equality about for, I would go to say, further than decades, centuries, half a century, whatever time you're living in. This extends back. They just call it something different at some point, right? Hey, Miss Yo, we got Laverne in the building. Oh, it's good to see you, sis. Thank you, thank you, thank you. If y'all don't mind when you come in, if you could just tap the like button, it'd be so appreciated. Thank you kindly, right? So when it comes to people coming into this country, and I'm gonna tell you what really burns my noodles, what really pisses me off at the end of the day is when you have people that have served in military branches and have given any type of time, energy, and life, right, to this country, to protect this country, to serve for this country. And then they come back, if most of them are deployed at some point during their terms, when they come back, they don't have that security. We have an epidemic of homelessness in this country at this point that is being exacerbated, and it is being worsened by all of these bodies coming in, and they're getting top priority with housing, food, the basic necessities. You got vehicles. We have in Chicago, and I'm sure it's not just in Chicago, but you have certain sanctuary cities and states that are building whole communities with homes, whether they're small homes or whether they are regular sized homes, to accommodate small families and large families from the ground up. Where is this money coming from? I think we know it's a rhetorical question, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Where is the money coming from? And why are they getting precedence over those that toil and sacrifice and lay stake to claim to the soil on this land in this country? How and why? With very little monitoring coming or due process of vetting these people, they're bringing drugs, crime, rejects, and there are many countries that will not allow them to come back. So they're throwaways. But the United States seems to be welcoming these people with open arms. And then when you talk about just a normal regular citizen that was born and raised and work and, create families on this soil, you have our veterans. Now, I don't know to me, that sting from that slap in the face, just being a citizen, not have serving in armed forces. I'm grateful and I appreciate those that have and that do. But I can't imagine what that sting must feel like for those vets that come back and they have to fight for every nook and cranny that they get, the crumbs, if you will. And now we're not even dealing with crumbs because a lot of our vets are homeless. So I know that people have probably seen the video that has gone viral, I'm sure by now, where there was a Venezuelan, allegedly, immigrant that went into a grocery store and left the receipt, I guess walked out before getting the receipt, and the person behind her or the cashier, don't know the whole story, but somebody picked up that receipt and they looked at it and they saw the balances. Now we're talking about after money has been spent. So what I don't hear a lot of is what the starting balance was, because the receipts, when you go to make purchases at stores, they show you the remaining balance, not the starting balance. So we're looking at $13,400, I think $1 and some change as the remaining balance for SNAP food, and $4,400 remaining balance of SNAP cash for immigrant. How many of these immigrants are receiving these types of funds? So now that's gone viral. Then there's so much commentary and so much material on the internet that is just exposing the disparities and the imbalance and the unfairness that is being imposed upon the citizens per the immigrants. That's a problem. And I've lived long enough to where I remember, even if I was a kid, the last time that I have a clear and vivid memory, I remember a time where the citizens spoke up. They act up and they cut up where you offended them. People weren't quiet. They didn't just walk on by like they didn't see what was going on. They didn't have the blinders on. They organized and they acted until they got different results. And we have so many more people that live in this country now than they did when I was a child. And we're not organizing. We're outraged, but we're not mad. Or if we're mad, we're not mad enough to do nothing about it. Everybody's just like, okay, yeah, I get it. No, that's messed up. Yeah, that's real messed up. But what can we do about it? I don't have the answers. I am very solution oriented. However, sometimes the problem is bigger than just one person. And in this situation, we definitely are dealing with some issues that, while we've been distracted with all of these entertaining celebrities, all of this mumbo jumbo nonsense that doesn't affect our everyday life when it's all said and done, but we have succumbed to it over time. We have been super distracted while they're passing bills and putting in protections and passing hate crime bills for other cultures, and you're giving out billions of dollars, that's with a B, billions of dollars in aid, in funding, in resources to those that lay no stake to claim to this soil. Now, I don't know about nobody else, but the more I talk about it, the more pissed off I become. But as I stated, we can be as mad as we want to be, but what are we going to do about it? And this is definitely bigger than one person, right? So without further ado, let me look at my chat one more time, and then we're going to get off into the meat and potatoes of the live, right? And I just want to welcome everybody in. If you're coming through and watching the replay, if you would just be so kind to tap the like button. to help. My small channel is still growing, and it really could help if I could just be in the algorithm a little bit more. And from what I understand, the like button, pushing the like button is for free, helps that, right? So we got Selena in the building. Hey, pretty lady, good to see you. Thank you for being here. And anybody else that's coming through, feel free. D Truth TV's in the building. Appreciate you. Always good to see you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Respect. So without further ado, let's do this thing, right? Let's go ahead and check this thing out. Hold on, that really wasn't that. So I want to give a little context before I start this particular video. And right now, there's a lot of hustle and bustle on Chicago, right? Now, I'm not really sure, not really certain. I'm sure it's everywhere, but right now, the attention lays on Chicago because I feel and I believe that there's a lot coming to light in Chicago at an accelerated rate, and the citizens of Chicago are becoming outraged to the point where they are definitely holding forums. They are speaking out. This is how you execute change. At the very least, bring awareness to what's going on. And I definitely want to, chime in and if you engage in the chat, I encourage it. I absolutely encourage it if time permits. And if anybody is interested, I'm always open to dropping the link at the end and inviting a panel to come up to have a group discussion. If not, that's fine too, right? And so, well, thank you, D Truth. I appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you so much. And if anybody else is feel inclined, please share the live because we can all benefit from this information. All of us can. And I'm just doing my part, right, in order to bring awareness and to emphasize that we don't have time to rest. We don't have time to sit back and just do nothing and just talk. At this point, I don't know what can be done, but I know baby steps equal grown-up steps at the end of the day, as long as you keep walking. So let's go ahead and let's share. And here we go.
Now, I've said this before. If you give me 3 meals, housing, child care, education, a voucher for $9,000, you know what? I come to Chicago too. And that's
I want to stop that for a second. And I'm going to be doing that quite a bit because words matter. And when you have people that are living these actual life experiences that have this inside information and bringing it to social media, you can pretty much legitimize and tell when people are passionate and being truthful about something, right? But one thing he said is, if y'all gave me all these things, I would relocate as well. You have people in this country that relocate to different states because different states are ran differently and they allow different allowances, have different laws, different tax rates. There's a lot of things that are, that vary from state to state, right? And so people relocate all of the time, but most of the time when they relocate, they are relocating because they're motivated to do so to acquire a better quality of life. And so these immigrants are no different. I don't blame the immigrants. I hold the government and the powers that be responsible for this because people can't do to them what you don't allow. Not only are they allowing it, they are making it super appealing. They are making it super attractive in order to do so. So why wouldn't they? Let's continue.
And that's what they're doing. They're telling people and they're sending money back to back to Venezuela to come to Chicago because they're saying, hey, the good times are rolling there. They're taking care of everybody. Now, when we have Venezuelans that are driving cars, where did they get a driver's license? Where did they get insurance from? And then you have Venezuelans being caught with drugs and guns. Where are they getting them from? Now, I've said this.
Okay, so let's break this down for a second. They get driver's licenses. I don't think a lot of them do have it. I'm just going to keep it above. I think a lot of them are given documentation, and that's what they're using as identification. And their leniency in the expectations of them identifying themselves, they don't match what the citizens of this country are required to do. When you get stopped by a police officer in a vehicle as a citizen, they don't just want your active and your current valid driver's license. They want your insurance. They want your registration. And in a lot of states, if the information does not match on all three documents, they will penalize you through a ticket. Even if the address is different and you moved and you haven't had an opportunity to go update that driver's license address to your current address, and it doesn't match either your registration or your insurance, if the cop is really feeling like he want to go by the book, you will get a citation for that. But you have people coming here into this country that are able to purchase vehicles on the taxpayers' dimes, go into housing. Now, let's talk about that for a quick second. I don't even have to go deep. Anyone that has ever bought property, you got to do everything but sell your soul. They cross your T's, dot your I's, put the squiggly lines in your S's. They want your blood type. They want your lineage. They want your job history for the past 25 years. They want all your business, your bank statements, your W-2s, your tax returns, all of that. But you got immigrants coming over here. People, we don't even know who these people are. And they are laying to claim and are being given things that the citizens aren't closely privy to, without bearing everything that you have and letting everybody else all up into your business, your history. That means something. You can't even go into a bank and ask for a personal loan or a small business loan and expect to be approved without bearing your entire financial documented existence. And then when you do get it, the interest rate is so exorbitant that that's probably your last resort, right? So, O Speaks is in the house. Welcome, welcome. Thank you for being here. We got the Kitchen Closed podcast. I appreciate y'all. I do. I appreciate y'all. Thank you for being here. O Speaks says they're waiting their turn and getting paid to do so. Listen, the writing is on the wall. It doesn't take a literate person or a real smart person to realize what's going on here. But we're gonna still walk through this thing in my fashion, right? From what I've seen in the research that I've done and the conclusions that I am drawing, and I'm just going to share them with you. So this is all this is. So again, we're talking about specifically at this very moment, Chicago, and they got a lot going on there. So without further ado, let's go to this next video and I'll let them say for themselves. Did I stop? I think I stopped it. Hold on, y'all. Okay.
Much more about the migrant crisis right here. Welcome back. We are learning much more about the migrant crisis right here in Chicago. I spoke with Christina Passioni-Zayas, the city's first deputy chief of staff. She gave me insight on how the crisis is impacting the city and the state financially. Already this week, 41 buses have rolled into Chicago, and that means there are now 11,000 migrants living in shelters. 4,000 are still sleeping on police station floors and staying at the airport. Now,
that's a health risk and a safety risk. If they're in police stations, airports, the same airports where they have these scanners now that scan everything down to your skeletal structure, your bones, but they got people that just come into the country, occupy these spaces like it's just a thing to do. And while they're occupying these spaces, they're building homes. They're giving them vouchers for vehicles, new vehicles, new homes. In New York, they have a whole squatters' rights movement that absolutely supports the immigrants. I'm not calling them migrants. I get it. And I'm with you on that. Exactly. They're making it sound good, but that ain't what it is. That's not what's going on. That's not what's happening right at the moment. And I ain't calling it what I ain't seeing it as, right? So they're giving them all of these resources, not to mention, and I think I saw Ms. Collins say she wondered how big the family was that required that ridiculous amount of food stamps. This is how you know they plan. No family, unless you got a whole tribe or a whole mini community, several families together. In this country, that should be enough for a lot more than a month. When you have veterans out here getting $23 every 30 days to serve for a country that opens its borders to strangers with no minimal requirements. And then when they get here, they set them up for success. Now, I don't know if they are leading, I got to say this right, y'all. I listen, as much as I want to go in, I don't know if it is a setup. I'm smelling one. My discernment is screaming one. But they are light years ahead of us with their plans. And so a lot of times when we find things out, it's kind of too late at that point. But all you got to do is follow the money. And this is always said because it's true. And we're going to get off into that too. Because there is a financial, it doesn't seem like it now from what the way my point of view is that they're investing in them at this point to get a bigger return. Because otherwise, this country, it wouldn't make sense. We all know that the United States of America is a corporation. And so it's always business decisions when it comes to them. It's still a slap in the face for the citizens. But I wouldn't want to be an immigrant because I don't know of any country that gives you something for nothing. And all that glitters ain't gold. Let's continue.
Now, this is really startling. 30% of migrants here in Chicago are children. Majority of them are attending Chicago public schools. Right now, the state is footing the bill for what they call temporary housing, apartments and homes that are rented out for migrants. The state is paying on the high end $9,000 in rental assistance over a 6-month period of time.
Okay, so the state is paying for that, right? The state is paying for that, which means it's the taxpayers' monies. Where do you think the state gets funded from? They're getting $9,000 over a 6-month period. Let's do the math on that real quick. Hold on. So that equals out to $1,500 a month in rent. You know how many people are struggling to make $1,500 to put towards rent? As well, they're getting free food. And to my knowledge, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm almost certain that they are not required to pay taxes for a certain amount of time after they get here. So they get leeway in that as well. But they get access to all of the amenities on a new level. On a new level. The new homes, the new cars, the new food, the new medical, because in most other countries, they don't have the medical accessibility that they have in this country, that we have in this country, that people are struggling, the citizens are struggling to maintain and pay for. You have many veterans and many citizens that cannot even afford their monthly prescriptions. But you got immigrants coming over here and they're getting everything handed to them. And I mean everything. And what they don't get, they're taking. There's a whole scooter theft epidemic going on in New York to help, because, and the reason why they're choosing scooters and mopeds is because it's helping them commit crimes without being caught. Boy, y'all better leave me alone. Let's go. Let's go.
With that comes help moving in and a starter kit to furnish the apartment.
That rent lasts for 6 months, and ideally people would have started their legal process, secured legal work authorization, and then be able to sustain that apartment. And so the cost, or I guess the payment towards the landlord, is based on market rate. It's based on the configuration of the apartment, how many rooms, where it's located, all of those things. And so it kind of varies from place to place.
How come they get that consideration, but you got people that have been working jobs for 15, 20 years that can't get a raise in order to meet the inflation and the inflated prices of everything that is going on in this country, primarily the rent? How come they get to walk in and automatically, without a job, without references, without any leverage, any investment into this country whatsoever, no labor, no nothing, but they get the allowance to be able to afford the going rate of rent now? And I know $1,500 seems to be on the low end, but guess what? Like I said, you got fast food worker jobs that are still paying minimum wage, and they are complaining and if about paying a livable wage based off of the current prices of everything with inflation. And if not, then they'll go totally automated, make the investment to do the AI so they don't have to have any employees. Now, I think the writing is on the wall when we talk about getting a return on the investment of these immigrants, that when they come here and they do start working, they're going to get it back, because first of all, they're going to be offered lower pay, which is going to eventually set the bar for everybody else across the board. This is just my opinion, right? Fair use is in effect, but this is my opinion. And based off of history, my opinion has some validity, because this is how it's been going. Immigrants have been coming into this country since this is how this country was built, off of immigration. But is it a good thing? Even if you go through the proper channels and you go through due process, how does it benefit the country as a whole unless you're looking at it from a business perspective? Remember, this country runs like a business. It is a corporation. This is why we have birth certificates, social security numbers. We are property of this country at the end of the day, like it or don't. So Miss Yo, my Laverne says we must keep in mind these are the illegals we see. Imagine how many come to our country we don't. And they are getting access to the resources as well. They're not vetting these people. Hell, most of them don't even come through the proper channels, but then when they get here, all you have to do is procreate and have babies or bring babies. And you get broke off. How, Sway? Ooh, child, we're almost done with this one. Let's go.
Place.
We ran out of time, but I did reach out to the city to see how many asylum seekers are currently taking advantage of the rental assistance program. We haven't heard back from the city on that. The city put $4 million towards helping migrants get temporary housing. The state added $38 million to that. And right now, there are only 30 to 40 case management workers from Catholic Charities working to get thousands of migrants temporary housing. And I'm told there's a push to hire more. Scott.
A push to hire more. You got 30 to 40 workers over thousands of illegal immigrants, but they're pushing. That don't even sound right. We have people out here that don't have jobs, that are looking for jobs because the jobs are being soaked up by the immigrants. And why do you think that is? I ask, because they're willing, in my opinion, to work for less. Where does that leave the citizens? Where does that leave the homestead citizens, the ones that have the right to be here, that have vested into being here, that have toiled into being here, that have sacrificed to stay here and maintain? Most citizens are in survival mode in this country and have been for some time by design, in my opinion. So again, as the brother stated earlier in the live, if you offered him all of these amenities and all of these free handouts, because that's what they are, at the behest and at the cost of the taxpayers' monies, he would accept that too. Most of us would. Again, I don't hold them responsible, because when Trump was in office, he put barriers up and said, listen, if you want to come over here, this is what you're going to have to do. And I still ain't guaranteeing you're going to be able to stay. People do what you allow them to do. Right? So we're speaking on Chicago. So let's talk about some of the issues that this causes for the citizens of this country. I look at the elderly population and how older people are having to work beyond retirement age, because Social Security, it ain't enough. But then you got Social Security Administration saying you can't make over a certain amount or you're going to sacrifice your monthly stipend. Now, mind you, Social Security is a paid in to get out federally. It's not even federally funded, it's taxpayer funded. So you pay into it. It's automatically taken out of checks when you go to work for someone else, right? Even if you're self-employed, you still got to pay into it. Just a different way. However, my point being is that we have older people that can't sustain. We have a growing population of veterans, of our elderly. You have people that have Section 8 with multiple children that won't move out of the Section 8 housing developments when they can go out and get a job, when they can go out and find means to support their families. They get comfortable with people taking care of them. To me, that presents a problem for the immigrants coming in, or it presents a problem for the citizens for the fact that the immigrants are coming in, because guess what? You get used to somebody taking care of you after it's been done for a while. That sense of entitlement tends to click in. And now you got immigrants coming over here with that sense of entitlement from jump. You see how they snub their noses, many of them snub their noses up at the citizens of this country. And I'm going to go a step further and say, really, particularly to Black people. That's a whole nother story, right? I don't want to get too off the topic because there's so many layers to this, y'all. So much going on that it's hard to just sometimes narrow it down. But we're going to go ahead and continue. Now, this lady, the next video that I'm going to show, it broke my heart when I saw this, because you could tell it just didn't hit home for her. It also made her realize she's got children as well, that this can and probably will have the ripple down effect in generations to come. This just doesn't affect us to the here and now. We always have to think about things generationally. Now, the small businesses of this country for centuries, and I'm saying centuries because whether they were classified as small businesses or not, before corporations came in and did what they're doing and what they've been doing, there were communities, families that have businesses and they keep it within. They've been the heart of this country until recently, right? COVID. So many of them got shut down, closed down, eradicated. Businesses that have been in business for decades, for long periods of time. If anybody has owned a business or has been entrepreneurial, honey, that's a whole different type of grind. Especially when you're doing it solo dolo and you don't have an entire big, huge family on a cohesive level, on the same level, building together. And even then, it's a different type of grind. It's just different. If you know, you know. If you don't, if you know, you know, right? So this woman, I'm going to let her tell her story. But I am telling you, they slapped my other cheek on the face. They got the left one the first time with the housing, the food, the cash, and all that. And then a couple of days ago, I see this one. And now they're coming after our businesses, our small businesses. Let's go. I don't know why I keep doing that, y'all. Hold on a second.
I need this message to go out to our vice president who's running for president. I have heard all over social media about, excuse me if I say anything wrong, immigrants getting loans, money. It was hard for me to believe. It was just extremely hard for me to believe. I've been in business such a long time. Back in 2019, I purchased my first food truck. It cost me over $25,000. I paid it cash money. I worked hard to pay for this truck. I'm now selling it because I'm doing other things, but I'm selling it. I had a guy come to look at purchasing my vehicle or my food truck. And he explained to me he's an illegal immigrant. He has no credit. He has no money in the bank.
No credit. You got people, and I would go as far as to say millions of people that have medical bills on their credit that they have been unable to pay. That has lowered their credit. We've got federal interest rates that have been 7.5%, 7.5%. That even if you have good credit, that's the lowest amount, unless, I don't know if it's different for veterans. I know the requirements to purchase a house are different. But for the average citizen that works regular jobs, 7.5% with good credit. And we're looking at over, I think it's 760 or 780. Almost 800, 850 is the perfect credit score. And we have illegals coming in that have no credit. You have no clue as to if they're able to pay their bills, how responsible they may be or may not be, if they care, if they don't care. And then one of these immigrants approached this woman with documentation. It's a promissory note saying, I'm interested in buying your small business, the one that you built, the one that you created, that you marketed for, that you paid cash for. God knows how she was able to accumulate $25,000 cash because she was unable to get a small business loan as a vet. Again, let her tell her story.
But he showed me his paperwork that he will receive funds to purchase my food truck. I'm thankful that he's buying it, but I'm hurt that I worked so hard to pay cash for my food truck. I have good credit, can't even get a business loan because of the color of my skin. I have veterans in my family. I'm a veteran. I've been self-employed for so long. But somebody, please tell me, how do I work so hard to have somebody who comes to this country, not long, no credit, and he shows me paperwork where they'll be funding him money to buy my food truck. And when I talked to the bank, they told me usually they have to go straight to a dealership because I'm a private sale. But for special circumstances, they're going to, they allow it.
Special circumstances to allow them to skip the banks, to skip due process, to skip credit checks, to skip salary checks, income verifications, bank statements, W-2s. They don't even have to have ever filed taxes in this country to buy someone else's business. This woman's a veteran. She said with good credit, she couldn't qualify for a small business loan. That slap in the face stings for me. My heart goes out to my people, to my family. This affects everyone. Just because it hasn't hit your doorstep just yet, keep living. If we don't do something, instead of just saying something, this story will become all too common. Let's go.
But I need my president to tell me why I worked so hard all these years, all these decades. Couldn't get a business loan, but I bust my ass to get the money to create my business. And we got immigrants coming here. And they're getting money. Money! We're doing nothing but just being here. It's not right, and I want answers.
For doing nothing. For contributing nothing. For giving up nothing. And let's not get it twisted. It is my belief and it is my opinion that if it's not that man, it'll be someone close to him, because what they do is they spread the word. So his neighbor or somebody that he's connected to will also use the same criteria to purchase somebody else's business. And the income that and the revenue that they bring in, it won't generate this economy. It won't stimulate this economy. It's going to go back home to the rest of their families. And a lot of them, what they will do and what they have done based off of historic evidence and data is that they, once they get to a certain amount, they will divest everything here and go back home with generational wealth. While the citizens of this country continue to struggle because we are inside of a corporation. Now, her emotion it moved me. It moves me now because this hits home. This can be any one of us. And if we stand by and just watch this happen, it will eventually be one or more of us. There comes a time where we have to figure out what is it that we have to lose. That answer is going to be different for everybody. But I think the one consensus that we can come to is that everybody's got something to lose. Our freedoms are being stripped every day while we are on these platforms being distracted by celebrity news. people that most of us will never meet, never cross paths with, never see the kind of monies that they have accumulated or are getting in order to do their job, which is to distract us and to keep our focus off of what really matters. If your family, if your own personal legacy and lineage is not your primary focus, you're focusing on the wrong shit. We have got to get to a point where we wake up collectively. It bothers me to see so many people sleepwalking. And a lot of it is by choice, because we are living in a time where the truth is in your face. And if you're not seeing it for what it is, there comes a point where you have to take and own responsibility that that's on you. Don't cry. When shit hit the fan, you ain't got no generators. You don't have no canned foods. You don't have no bags of rice. You don't have stored water. If you can't do it by yourself, we shouldn't have to do it by ourselves. There comes a point where we have to do this stuff collectively. We have to unite on some type of a level and look at the greater good of uniting instead of not getting past our differences. I don't know how many people are aware or watch the new debacle that's going on online now, especially on YouTube when it comes to New Breed Global Truth and Ringo TV. I don't put my faith in man. I will say that it can be reassuring when people set examples. And you got New Breed and Ringo, two brothers that joined initially forces together for the greater good. That was supposed to be to unite and to pave the way for living off of the land and becoming self-sustainable. And it's turned into a pure shit show because they can't get past the differences. At this point, I don't care who's right or wrong. I don't care. We got grown men out here. Supposed to be grown men. And I'm not saying they're not. I'm just saying that's just an example to the foolery that's going on, to why we can't get past stuff at the end of the day that don't matter. It takes a community. That is the difference between the Black culture and other cultures. The J culture, the Asian culture, the Chinese culture, whatever. Anywhere you look and they have successful outcomes, they have cohesiveness, they have security, they have reinforcement. It's in numbers. They see the bigger picture. They see the bigger picture. Why can't we? Are we so broken? Is it too late? I refused to ask that question up until recently. But the way things are going, I don't see, or maybe it's because it's not visible to my eyes, a lot of progress in a time where time is accelerated and the world is moving at a really fast pace. And we're losing the race. Where is our attention going? Where is our focus? You got this system of things that is, the cat is out the bag. People that don't even want to see it are seeing what's going on. If through nothing else, it's through this immigration situation. They let you know just what they think of you. Hold on, y'all. Give me 1 second, because I wanna revisit something, but I gotta find it first. Just give me a second.
I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to do something that's only going to benefit Black people. No.
And taken to the Americas, to the Caribbean.
I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to do something that's only going to benefit Black people. No.
And
So you got her saying that, no, we're not going to do nothing for Black people specifically. Nope, ain't going to happen. But we're going to take care of these immigrants coming across here. We're going to make sure the borders stay open. We're going to make sure that they get what they need, so we get what we want in the end. How many different ways do they need to tell us? You got Biden saying if you don't vote for him, you ain't Black. One of the whitest, most ghostly looking people I've ever seen in my life got the nerve to define what Black is. Fair use, YouTube. I know, y'all. It is what it is. Selena says, I told them, brother, it don't look good and the world is watching how they handle the situation, especially non-believers. And that's the thing. That's the thing. You know, it doesn't look good. But it also, it's like a double-edged sword for me, because it reminds me that our faith should not go in man, but in God that sits high. That's what I believe. However, there's nothing wrong with having examples. It is what is instill hope, motivation. It stimulates us to keep going, individually as well as collectively. With such divisiveness and such the individualistic attitude, I'll do this on my own, I don't need, that's the thing. It's like one of those parties of those brothers, that's what he's permeating and promoting now. He's promoting, you can't depend on nobody, can't trust nobody, I don't believe nobody, I'm better off alone. Do we understand? If you look at the animal kingdom, anytime you see one animal, you know that they have been separated from their tribe. Shout out to Double Speaks. I look at Double Speaks videos sometimes where he videotapes the ducks, right? And anytime you see one, you see the other ones behind them. They're very aware. Even if they're hesitant and walking up, they're very aware, they're very acute, and they all on the same page because they all know their role. They all know their positions. When he feeds them, the patriarch eats first. That's how they do it. That's how the animal kingdom in that situation does it. Anytime you see one, you know that they're separated from their tribe. They're easier to pick off. They're easier to discard. They're easier to go in for the kill. What makes us any different? I'm just asking. We got kids having kids to the point where you're kid yourself, so you don't even know how to raise a baby into an adult. Y'all growing together in a lot of cases. Then you have some adults that have children, they have them for the wrong reasons. So there's no maternal bond, there's no paternal bond. You got people out here that have money that are being targeted for paychecks through getting pregnant on purpose, not through love, not through the fact that you know that you are here to procreate and there's something that goes with that, or there are some things that go with that. We have to do better if we want to survive what's coming down the road. I'm not going to make this a real long live. There's a lot I can say, but then there's a lot that I have said. Now, when it comes to these smaller businesses, to me, the solution is self-sustainability. You can't do that alone. I don't care how good you are. I don't care what kind of information you got. I don't care what kind of experience you got. I don't care how many trades you got up under your belt. It is going to take an accumulative effort and a village in order to be able to move in the proper order of things. There is a proper order of things. We were not, if we were created to be here and do everything on our own, why would it take man and woman to procreate for child, to bring forth life? Women should just be able to give birth upon command if we were meant to do things alone and be isolated from one another. Now, we did talk about, I'm going to shift a little bit. So we did talk about the situation in Chicago, how people are speaking up. State tax monies are being, we got these sanctuary cities that are in crises at this point. Maybe not this time last year, but definitely by this year. Inflation has not slowed down. It has not decreased. None of that. So, like I said, I am solution oriented. I do want to play a couple of small clips on the way out for possible solutions. So if any of my viewers are in Chicago, this may be of some help and assistance to you. And if not, then at least we are aware that some of these programs or some of these resources may be federally funded, to where wherever state you are in, you can definitely do your own research and find some type of resources, because that's where we are with it. And we are entitled to those resources. It's just a shame how they will present them and make it easier for some groups of people to receive them than others. But this is what this is where I'm at with it, and I definitely wanted to share this. So give me 1 second, y'all. Hold on.
Thick girl, this for you, baby, and anybody else who's living in Chicago, Illinois. Now, I'm gonna be honest, y'all might want to take out a pen and paper because y'all really have a lot of resources in the Chicago area. Okay, the first one is Northside Housing and Supportive Services. And in their program, they help homeless people and they help homeless prevention. So if you need rent assistance, they got you. Plus, they got food pantries and health assistance and all of that good stuff. The next one is Bright Star Community Outreach. They too help with utilities and rent assistance. But you're gonna have to scroll down to their contact information and to be able to find your local office in your area. This next one is called All Chicago. They provide financial assistance for things like rent, utilities, and transportation. Plus, they said that they were quick. I'm just telling you what they said. Now, this one is called Housing Forward. They have homeless assistance programs and homeless prevention program. They help with rent, mortgage, pass-through utility bill, and other housing needs. This next one is Connections for the Homeless. You're going to have to find your local office in order to get assistance from them. But they do eviction prevention, like rental assistance and all of that good stuff. They have services for the homeless, shelters, and they help people with domestic violence. Next, you have Beds Plus, and just like with the other programs, they help with financial assistance. Now, I did see that funds can be limited, so I'm assuming it's a first come, first served basis. But they do help with past rent fees and security deposits if you're trying to move into a new spot. Last but not least, you have the St. Vincent organization. They help with food, utilities, bills, rent, medical bills, all that good stuff. Go on their website to see how you can get in touch with them, because they too have some good stuff going on in the community. And y'all share this and run these numbers up, man. We in a recession and it's hard out here. And be sure to go subscribe to my YouTube channel, because sometimes this platform be tripping. You feel what I'm saying? And follow me.
Amen to this sister for doing the work and then posting it and sharing it. And I just I'm gonna put her link to her page in the description once the video is over, so you can definitely, and for those that are coming in on the replay, or for those that want, I know she talked fast or whatever, slow the video down and go back and then write down some of these names or all of them and just type in and see if there's anything that you can qualify for, right? Anything that may be prevalent to your situation. So there is one more video, and then we're gonna wrap this thing up. I hope I didn't close it. Hold on a second. Oh, I think I did. No, I didn't. Okay, good. Hey, Phoenix Rising, peace and blessings to you. Let's see. The citizens have to bring in every piece of paperwork required, no exceptions, but the immigrant can just walk in and receive the red carpet treatment for this assistance. Sad but true. Sad but true. Listen, sometimes say less, right? Sometimes I just gotta know when to just be quiet. So I'm gonna let this sister go ahead and I'm shifting a little bit because the picture is bigger than just today. We have to get to a point where we're looking further out and just looking at your surroundings, your environment, how things are going, paying attention to what is going on. There's a lot of information out there, but that's why discernment is super important. You got to be able to pick out or pray over what to pick out, what's real, what's pertinent to you, and what's not, right? What doesn't have anything to do with you. So let's go.
We don't know what's going on in this country of ours or in the world, but these are the things based upon my research that I believe that you should have on deck, on standby in case some shit goes sideways. You need batteries, you need a canvas knapsack, you need solar powered lanterns, a generator if you can find it, and if you can afford it, about $500 on Amazon. You need a plastic tarp. You need all your medicines, water, canned food, especially your prescription medicines, K95 masks, a gas mask. You can find that on Amazon. Blankets, water, preferably the 5-gallon ones that you get from Kroger. If you can't find that, then just get gallon water. Blankets, if I didn't say that already, or sheets, or both. Cast iron pots, as well as coal or charcoal. Roping, some kind of twine. Sleeping bags. Rain slickers. A weapon.
Now, most of us aren't going to have the means or the storage room to be able to obtain and then store all of these items, but pick out what's more pertinent. To me, food that's, non-perishable, excuse me, y'all, is non-perishable. Things such as batteries, to me, a generator, battery packs are musts. Candles, things, some of these things we already have in our homes. We just need to stock up a little bit, things that don't take up a whole lot of space. Definitely mason jars. I noticed mason jars have really gone up in price because people are paying it. There are some people that are definitely paying attention And in order to be able to pickle your foods and store some foods in, Miss Yo Thoughts, please drop your links in the chat to my content creators that are in the chat, to my mods, please. I know everybody can't do it, but Miss Yo also has a lot of material. Subscribe, I'm telling you, she's got some gems, and she tells you how to do it, how to do it inexpensively, effectively. It doesn't take a lot of time. She'll tell you how to store it. I'm telling you, you'll be doing yourself a disservice if you don't start being proactive, if you haven't already started to accumulate some things, because we have, when I say that, I feel like at some point, what they say, they fatten up the pig to lead it out to slaughter. Take from that what you will. So that's all I'm gonna say about that. All right, y'all.
Preferably a rifle or shotgun, along with a revolver, ammo, lots of it, potassium iodide tablets available on Amazon, a Bible or whatever you use to study, a will, your cell phone and chargers, a burner phone, change of clothes, several items, fill your tank with gas, and also, if you can, get additional gas and store it in a safe place. Have cash on hand, emergency contact numbers, a compass, a first aid kit, and alcohol, at least a roll or two of toilet paper, flatten it. I'll do another video if I think of anything else. Love you. Be safe.
1 second, y'all. Okay, so I'm not here to just instill fear. That's not my motive. My motive is to, or my objective is to bring awareness, just to keep us reminded that even though it's okay to, to play around or to mix up in the bullshit from time to time, at the end of the day, that should not take priority or precedence over real life situations and real life possibilities in the climate of the times and the country that we are living in. The writing is on the wall. Things are being revealed to us at a really fast rate at this point, and I know it can be overwhelming. That's where each other and learning how to lean on one another can really help. I'm not talking about leaning on people you don't know. I'm talking about starting with people that you know, especially when there are certain things you can get past for the greater good, right? And definitely always keep God first. Always stay in your word. Always recognize and be obedient to the natural order of things. Even if you're not a really spiritual person or a religious person, or these things don't apply to you, you do still have instincts that you were born with. You have natural proclivities and inclinations that you were created with. Embrace them, tap in, meditate, take some time for yourself. You can't be no good to nobody else if you're not good to you. Period. Right? So what I'm going to do is, real quick, I'm going to go ahead and drop the link and see if there is anyone that would love to come up and add any type of information, any value, have any opinions. Definitely feel free to come up. I would appreciate some reinforcement on this topic, some enlightenment. I don't know everything. There's way too much information, and I don't want that responsibility, no way. But I do welcome engagement in the chat, but I also welcome engagement on the panel if anyone is interested. So in the meantime, I just I kind of want to Oh, it made me log out. I kind of wanted to well, I tell you, you go to do something and it just logged me right on out, and I'm not getting ready to log back in. So anyway, let me just adapt to what I got going on. Again, when it comes to what we have going on as a people, I really don't have the answers as to how we get past differences in order to unite, because everybody is in their feelings. Everybody is in their emotions. Everybody just they want to be right. They want to feel like, okay, I'm justified in how I feel. At the end of the day, when you're hungry, when you don't have no roof over your head, the amenities and the luxuries that we have become so acclimated and so adjustment to, and that we take for granted every day, can be gone in the blink of an eye. Look at all the natural world disasters that are going on across the universe. This is not just in our country. The entire world is facing, because we're in biblical prophetic times. So it goes with the territory, right? It is what it is, y'all. We have to get to a point where we think bigger and our visions are a lot bigger than our circumstances, right? So, with that being said, we got Miss Leslie in the building. Welcome, peace and blessings to you. I'm just trying to make sure that I didn't miss anybody. We got Double Speaks in the house. Thank you so much for coming through. Appreciate you all day, every day. We got Writers for Life. Salute to you, Rachel. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Phoenix Rising is in the building. Hey, Rachel Banks. We got Rachel in the building. I dropped the link for Miss Yo's channel. For anyone that has not subbed up, please go do so. And she's got a lot of videos with a lot of information. You got enough of it to where you should be straight if something comes down the pike, as long as you're attentive, and like I said, she makes it affordable. I understand times are tough. They're tough for many of us, so I definitely get it. Right? Okay, so no problem. I appreciate everybody coming through. I hope everybody enjoys the rest of their day. Much love to my chat, to my mod, Miss Yo, my Laverne. But if you're catching the replay, I appreciate your support. Just tap the like button. And yeah, so with that being said, we're going to go ahead and get up on out of here, because it is Saturday. Get out and get some sun. Get out of your normal, natural environment. If you're always in front of this screen, even if you just put an earbud in your ear and you want to stay tuned in, get outside and do something. Plant a seed or something. Go take a walk. Take a drive. Go do something. Go pet somebody else's dog if you don't have a dog of your own. Just make sure it's okay with the owner and they don't bite. All of that good stuff. So, yeah, that's right. Thank you. Hey, Mr. Oates. Yes. I appreciate you. So please remember to share and like, and definitely the option to become a member. I'm going to start doing, once my membership builds a little bit more, I'm going to start doing definitely some member only lives. And so if you find value in the content, feel free to do so and subscribe. I appreciate y'all. Become a member. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Have a great weekend. You as well, Selena. I appreciate everybody. And yeah, I'm out. Have a good one, y'all. Peace.